Today, we're diving deep into those incredible, sometimes all-consuming inner worlds we create. You know, the arguments you always win, the perfect comebacks you think of hours later, those entire scenarios that play out in your head but, well, never happen in real life. So what is really going on inside our brains when we do this? Let's get into it.
Oh, come on. You know you have. We all do it, right? You're driving, you're in the shower, you're trying to fall asleep, and boom, you're completely lost in a detailed, vivid conversation that is 100% imaginary. But why? I mean, why do our brains spend so much energy on this? What purpose does it actually serve?
Well, it turns out this isn't just some random mental static or simple overthinking. No, this is a core psychological mechanism at work. Your brain is actively trying to do something for you. It's trying to cope with stress, prepare for the future, or just escape for a little while. It has a function.
Okay, so the first big reason, and honestly, maybe the most powerful driver behind this whole thing, is our deep, fundamental human need for control.
Just think about it for a second. The real world, it's messy, it's chaotic, unpredictable, and a lot of the time, it's completely out of our hands. But inside your own mind, well, that's a different story. In there, you're the director. You're the scriptwriter. You get to decide what everyone says and does. It's your own little sanctuary where you are totally in charge. And you can really see the appeal when you put it side by side like this. Real life is just unpredictable. You don't get do-overs. But in our heads, oh, we can craft the perfect comeback. We can win the argument. We get to control the outcome. It's a way of creating a sense of order that reality just doesn't offer. And that search for control leads us right to our second point, which is where this habit really gets its fuel. Its powerful, undeniable connection to anxiety. See, an anxious mind is always on the lookout for danger. So by creating these worst-case scenarios, it's basically running a simulation. It's like a mental flight simulator for life's problems. It's trying to prepare you for every possible negative outcome, so you feel less vulnerable. And on the flip side, it might replay past social blunders over and over, trying to fix them in your head to soothe that cringeworthy memory. All right, our third reason. This one can be the most personal. We often invent these scenarios to fill very real emotional gaps in our lives. If you're feeling lonely, you might imagine these incredibly deep, connecting conversations. If someone hurt you and you never got that apology, you can literally write the script for it in your mind, just to feel a sense of closure. These daydreams give us a temporary hit of the emotions we're starved for, which is a huge reason this whole thing can feel so compelling. Now, this is where it can get a little tricky, because this whole process can go from being a conscious choice to a deeply ingrained automatic mental habit. This is where it can start to feel almost like an addiction. And it all comes down to a simple habit loop. It starts with a cue, a pang of anxiety, a wave of boredom, or feeling lonely. The routine is to immediately retreat into that inner world, to start a scenario. And the reward? You get that quick little hit of relief, or excitement, or connection. And just like any habit, the more your brain runs through that loop, the more automatic it becomes. But there's a flip side. There's a potential downside here. When this habit becomes so frequent, so all-consuming, it can actually start to pull you away from the real world. And there's actually a clinical term for when this crosses a certain line: maladaptive daydreaming. This isn't just your average mind wandering. We're talking about daydreaming that's so extensive, so immersive and vivid, that it can take up hours and hours of a person's day, and it starts to seriously interfere with their work, their relationships, their actual life. You can really think of it as a spectrum. For most of us, daydreaming is totally harmless, a small part of our mental landscape. But for those experiencing maladaptive daydreaming, you can see the level of interference in their daily life is just so much higher. It stops being a coping tool and starts becoming a compulsion. So let's just recap real quick. Our brains cook up these incredible scenarios for 5 main reasons: to get a sense of control, to manage our anxiety, to fill emotional voids because it's become an automatic habit, and sometimes simply to escape a reality that just feels too hard. So I'll leave you with this question. Think about your own inner world for a second. Do any of these drivers feel more true for you than the others? Because just understanding your why, that's the most powerful tool you have. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. The goal isn't to stop daydreaming. It's about gaining the self-awareness to know why you're doing it. Because that awareness, that's what gives you the power to enjoy your inner world without letting it take over your real one.